Today I have another rifle scope to show you. This one comes from Discoveropt. I'm Dustin and you're watching Guns of the West. Well, first of all, I want to give a big public thank you to Discoveropt for reaching out to me a while back, asking if they could send out this scope and have me take a look at it, try it out, and let you all know what I think of it. So I'm happy to do that. Well, why don't we get it unboxed and we'll get started. Lift this off. Seems to be packaged pretty nice. Looks like you've got typical paperwork that comes with this kind of stuff. Cleaning cloth. It's got the specs of the scope. And it looks like it's a 30mm tube. I was wondering about that when they sent it. They didn't say, but I like 30mm tubes. You get a little extra travel in the turrets that way. Oh, it looks like it comes with, I believe that's probably a set of rings. Yes, and I may or may not use them. I may just use some others. It depends on how high the scope is going to sit on the rifle I'm putting it on. But now let's go ahead and get the scope out. Nice heavy-duty thing. Let's see. Oh, that's a sunshade. I love when scopes come with those. You know, we do a lot of shooting out in the west desert of Utah, and sometimes it'll be early morning or evening, and we also like to do prairie dog shooting out in the eastern part of the state, and a lot of times those sunshades really come in handy. Pull this back. All right. Looks like it comes with a flip-up cover, at least on the front there. On the back, it just has a pull-off cover. I believe that's what that is. Let's see. Yeah, just pops right off. Set that aside. Nice big turrets with big numbers to see. And one thing that's different from the other scopes that I have, most of my scopes, in fact, I believe all of them, have MOA turrets, and most of them are also MOA reticles. This one is all in mils. So you've got your elevation adjustment right here, and over here, of course, is the windage adjustments. Over here, you have your parallax adjustment. It's a side focus, which I like. And it looks like it goes down to 15 yards. So this would even be good for some of the air rifles that I have, which maybe someday I'll use it on one. And then over here, you've got an illuminated reticle, which I don't think that has a battery in it, so I'll have to get one in. That's fine. All right, well, the rifle I've decided to put this on is this Marlin Model 880 and 22 long rifle. And you may be wondering, why would you put a scope like this on a rimfire? Well, a couple reasons. One, I was looking for another scope for this rifle, which I think you've seen this rifle in just one other video. But two, being rimfire, there's really no recoil, which means I can easily film through the scope, and it's easy for you to see what I'm doing. Well, anyway, let's just take a look here, a little better look anyway, at the features. As I said before, it comes with covers. This one is not a flip-up. I kind of wish it was, because that's something I just have to keep track of. But the front does have the flip-up. It is, as far as magnification, let's see, power again is 8 to 32 times magnification. Turns, very, very smoothly. Everything on here turns smoothly. It's got the illuminated reticle. I probably won't be using that, but if you do like illuminated reticles, it's there, and I'll show it to you in a moment. And it has a 50mm objective lens. As you saw, there's a sunshade. For today's video, I actually might not use that. The turrets I really like on here, and I've gone ahead and already got it zeroed, but you are going to see me shoot with it. We'll do a box test. And I'm going to hold this right up to my microphone and see if you can hear the clicks. They're pretty audible, and they has a zero stop as well. It might be hard for you to see, but I've taken these caps off, and once the scope was zeroed, aligned the zero up to them and put them back on. But before I did that, inside it has a zero stop that you can set, which means as I make my adjustments for elevation, I can turn it to dial up, but without even having to look, I can just turn it back to zero, and it automatically stops there. That's a really nice feature. You know, sometimes if you're dialing for long shots, you might get dialed up several full revolutions, and when you come back down, you're not sure which one was all the way back to your true zero. So a zero stop, That is an amazing feature, and I would say a rare feature on scopes of this price. This is not that expensive of a scope, and I'll leave a link to their Amazon page for this scope down below. I am not using the rings that came in the box. They were not quite the right clearance, so I used these. And putting the scope on this particular rifle was a bit interesting. There wasn't much of a rail, and I had to convert it from the little dovetail to the Picatinny. So I got this mount. I've got it turned in that direction that it is, and that worked out. I was able to get it on here. Well, anyway, there is an overview of it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the reticle, and I'll show you how the first focal plane reticle works. Well, here is just an indoor look at the reticle, and I'm showing you this with the Tacticam Solo Extreme. I've got it mounted on here, and anyway, you can see the numbers. Those are mils, and it's marked every 2, and then going down below center, you can see that it's got that, what we sometimes call the Christmas tree effect. Well, I want to turn the illumination on. Here it is. It's got several brightness settings. This is the very brightest, and you can see it lights up just the center area, but then every 2 mils going down, it has just a little lit up dot. And to show how first focal plane works, watch how as I change magnification, it actually changes the magnification on the reticle as well as the target. Now let's get out to the range. Anytime I get a new scope, one of my big questions, especially when it has externally adjustable turrets like this, is will it track? And if you're not sure what I mean by track, that means, if I dial up, say, 2 mil radians on the dial, when I turn back to 0, I want it to actually be at 0. Some inexpensive scopes will not do that. It might be off by 0.1 mil, 0.2, maybe even 0.5. There are some that can really be off. So I want to make sure that this tracks, and for that we'll be doing a box test. The way a box test works is I'll fire a shot at the bullseye, and then I'm going to turn 2 full mils up, aim at the bullseye again and fire, and if the scope is tracking well, it should hit 2 mils high. Then I'll go 2 mils to the left, and it should hit then 2 high, 2 left, and then I'll continue this around in a square. So then I'll go down 2 more, over 2, up 2, over 2, and then when I come down 2, if it tracks well, it should be back on the bullseye again. Well, if you followed all that, let's get out to the range and try it. Well, I flinched a little at the gun next to me, so I'm going to take one more shot at the bullseye and give it another chance. Well, here's a clear look at the results of that test. The first 5 shots, the scope tracked extremely well, but then on shot number 6, which is low center, you can see that it went a little higher than the one on the low left. And then on the 7th shot, you can see that that one stayed the same height as the one before, but still not quite correct. And then a really interesting thing is when I dialed up for the next one, though, I still just dialed the same, and it came back to where it actually should be. But then when I dialed up for the next one, notice how that only went up about half as far as it should have. I dialed 2 mils, and I got about 1. Then when I came over, though, to the left again, you can see that top center shot went pretty much in the same hole as when I shot there before, so then it was back to tracking right on. Now, as I said, when I shot at the bullseye again, I flinched a bit at the gun shooting next to me, and so that one went high. But then when I gave it another chance, you can see the last shot did come pretty much back to where it should be. So while some of the shots were not quite right, I guess it did actually end well. So I'm going to say, did this pass or fail? I'm going to call this a quasi-pass. So what can I say in closing about the Discoveropt? I would say it has a lot of features for the price. Again, pretty entry-level price, especially for a scope with so many features. The tracking could have been a little better, as you saw. It ended well. That's why I say it was a quasi-pass on the box test. So I would say it holds at 0, but in moving the turrets up and down, left and right, there appears to be something going on where maybe something out in the turret is binding and not always letting it track the way it should. But, you know, what I did see also is when I adjusted 2 mils, especially on those first couple of shots, it was hitting 2 mils on the reticle. So the reticle marks are good. So I would say if I'm using this, especially at longer ranges, I'm not going to dial for my shots. What I would recommend is that you just use the marks on the reticle, those mil radian marks, and just use holdover with those. That way, I think you're going to be just fine. And being a first focal plane, you know, you can adjust in and out and see those marks better or worse, depending on how close you are and how much you need them. But I just don't think I would trust these enough to be dialing for each shot, especially at any kind of a distance, not knowing for sure that it's going to come back to where it's supposed to be. Now, if you get one of these Discoveropt scopes, I would say perform your own box test, because who knows, maybe yours does it right on every single shot. And if so, as accurate as the reticle is and as accurate as the rest of my shots were, then yes, go ahead and dial away on each of your shots. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this look today and this box test of the Discoveropt scope. Please don't forget to click that like button down below and subscribe to the channel so you can see more videos. And if you look in the description, you'll see where to find me on social media, as well as where to find Great Guns of the West products. Thank you all so much for watching.